Being down 15 on the road in a hostile environment. The Nuggets hadn't lost all postseason at home. They've been dominant at home. They have the best player in the series on their team, and he was playing unbelievable. But they didn't hang their heads, and they found a way to keep fighting and stayed in the ball game. Gabe Vincent was huge, 23 points on 8 of 12 shooting. He was 4 of 6 from the three-point line. But I thought Max Strus did a great job of getting them off to a great start.
After he didn't get off to a great start in game one.
He didn't get off. As a matter of fact, he didn't even get off.
No.
So with that being said, he was 0 for 10, I think 0 for 10, 0 for 9 from three. And then he goes 4 of 7. He only scored 14 points, but those 12 big first quarter points were huge. You get Duncan Robinson, all of a sudden he turns into Ray Allen in the fourth quarter. He had 10 big points in a matter of like 3 minutes, and he started feeling himself because as they ran him off the three-point line, he started attacking the basket, something we don't normally see from Duncan Robinson, but we've seen it a little bit lately. Bam was Bam, but when you have three guys score, give you at least 20. And what the Heat did, he said, well, they let Yoke score. No, you didn't. Yoke took it upon himself to go get 40 because he saw his teammates struggling shooting the basketball, and he saw it slipping away from him. So now all of a sudden, he's not looking to pass the ball because he doesn't trust his guys. Michael Porter Jr. is going to have to give him something, Skip. KCP is going to have to give him something. And we saw the first game, and the same thing that we saw in Game 4 when they swept the Lakers. Aaron Gordon played big. Aaron Gordon didn't give you much last night. He's going to have to get... If Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon can give you at least 30, between those two, Yoke and with Jamal Murray, although Murray didn't have the greatest game, but anytime the dynamic duo can give you somewhere between 55 and 70 points, that should be good. They gave you 59 last night, although Yoke had 41. But I thought the Heat's resiliency was the main reason that they won that game because they could have easily hung their head like, okay, they're at home. They're supposed to win. We go down 0-2. We got 2 games in Miami. We can tie this thing up. But they said, no. There's plenty of time left. And they fought in there, and then they opened the fourth quarter, Skip. That fourth quarter, you won't see a better fourth quarter than what they played on the offensive end. And they did a number on the Nuggets defensively. But it was their offense because the Heat scored 36 points on 19 possessions. That's the most efficient fourth quarter of any team in any game in the last 2 seasons. They shot 69% in the fourth quarter. That's the third highest field goal percentage in a fourth quarter in an NBA Finals in 25 years. Well, when you put up historic numbers like that in the fourth quarter, you're probably going to win the ball game, and they did. We got a series now.
Okay, I hear everything you just said. I'll go even harder than you went. Your man Joker scored 28 in the second half last night. He was extraordinary on the offensive end. His teammates were not extraordinary for the most part because he had only 4 assists. So we'll get deeper into this a little later in the show, but is that the magic formula? Is you just defend his teammates as hard as you can defend them and hope that they don't cash his three-point passes or his... Remember what Aaron Gordon did? He scored 12 in the first quarter on Gabe Vincent, it seemed like, on layups and dunks. Well, they took that away last night.
They inserted Kevin Love into the starting lineup, put a big.
All right. Even more deeper into this, look at the rebounds. It's Denver 38-31. Look at points in the paint. Denver dominated. Look at second chance points. Denver dominated. Look at fast break points. Denver dominated. Denver dominated. Denver dominated. Denver is better. They were 9-point favorites last night. Now they're going down to Miami as 3-point favorites. Doesn't that remind you of last series when Boston kept being 9-point favorite at home and 3-point favorite on the road and finally lost in 7 games? All right, so big picture, if I step back from this, and I've been watching this league for a long time, I've never seen anything quite like these Miami Heat. I do love to watch them. I do love to root for them because you never know where it's going to come from on any given night. I'm going to remind everybody, they lost their leading regular season scorer in Tyler Hero in Game 1 against Milwaukee. He might play in Game 3 back in Miami, but look at them now. They're 1-1 going home without their best scorer during the regular season, a 20-point-a-game score. The truth is, Mr. Sharpe, that we haven't seen playoff Jimmy now for 7 straight playoff games. He is going through an issue with his father, who is not well at the moment. God bless him, and God bless Jimmy, because I think he might be a little distracted, if not a little drained, by going through that away from basketball situation. But the point, and I'm giving him certainly a pass for that, but look at Shannon, look at last night. He's 7 for 19. That's 37% from the floor. Is that playoff Jimmy to you? It's just not. Look at the third quarter last night. He went 0 for 5 while Joker was scoring 18 points just in the third quarter. And there was a point where I thought, okay, that's enough. I will be the first to admit that, what was it, in the second quarter, they got all the way up as 5:22 of the second quarter. They jump up 15 points. I wrote them off on Twitter because I thought, there's no way. You just got buried by a Denver Avalanche, right? How are you going to come back from 15? I was imagining you up in your palatial estate. I just figured you sat back and said, got this one.
You know what? No, actually, I don't, because I know the end of quarters are very important. And I see when they had that big lead, I said, let me see how they close out the second. And what did the Miami Heat do? They go on this run.
They got back in it. They cut it to 6.
Yes.
And then they storm out in the third quarter and cut it to none. Yes. They actually tied the game up.
Yes.
And then they fall slowly but steadily back behind to the point that they got to the end of the third quarter, and they're down 8 going to the fourth quarter. And then, lo and behold, that I would have bet against this, because this man had played 6 minutes and 48 seconds so far in the game, was a -20. I'm talking about Duncan Robinson, undrafted out of Michigan. He is 6 feet 7 inches tall, but he looks a little awkward sometimes, looks a little geeky, gawky, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, to your point, he scores 10 points. And they come in such a flurry that you're like, what just happened? If we could show our faithful viewers who might not have seen this, this is Duncan Robinson to start the fourth quarter. He just said, oh, that was sweet, up and under on Jamal, and swished it. And then he drives it and makes it. Whoa, whoa. And then,
that was the one.
That was a bomb.
That was the one.
He said, I got this. And then he goes up and under, and watch what he does after this. He is mean-mugging the crowd. He is mean-mugging the crowd. Duncan Robinson. He did this at Boston Garden.
He hit LeBron and not one muscle flex. He's like, okay.
Huh? What muscles? I don't know. But I just showed you 10 quick points.
Yes.
And they go from down 83-75 to up 88 to 85.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it was 10-2. They outscored them 10-2.
10-2. What just happened? And the truth is, the Heat never looked back.
No.
Although, even though the Heat were up 9 with 3.5 minutes left, all of a sudden, there's a strong close from starting with Jamal Murray. Boom, boom, he hits 2 big threes, and they got back in the game.
Right.
It looked like, because it goes to the end, and then we had a shot from Jimmy Butler. It was a force-up that missed, and if we could see the last sequence here, Jamal Murray got a pretty good look.
Yeah.
I thought, and I figured he would make this. I figured we were looking at overtime, because he just usually makes these. Okay, so Bruce Brown gets the rebound, kicks it to Jamal. Jamal's coming. He's on Gabe Vincent first, but Yoke picks him off, and Jimmy tries for a steal, then stays with him pretty well, and I thought defended it very well.
Right.
And did you think he was going to make it?
Yeah, because I've seen him make that. In this playoff run here, we've seen him make that shot so many times, especially against the Lakers and against the Suns, Skip. We've seen him make that shot. So for him to hit that sidestep and it not go in, I was a little surprised that it didn't go in. It looked on target from
it
the
did.
angle.
I thought it was going to go down. In fact, when it was halfway there, I thought, that's it. How are we going to figure out overtime? And it lipped out. So the point is, do the Heat live and die by the 3? Well, Eric Spoelstra says there's no way. We're not built that way. But the truth is, I now look at the whole playoff run of all the teams in the playoffs. Remember, Miami was the worst three-point shooting team.
Correct.
They ranked 27th in the NBA during the regular season.
Yeah.
They now have 6 of the top 11 three-point shooting games in this whole playoff run, featuring everybody.
Right.
From start to finish, 6 of the top 11 three-point shooting games were by the Miami Heat, who shot 49% last night. Well, I got to tell you, when you shoot 49% on the road, you're going to have a pretty good chance. Right?
Yeah. Because, Skipper, if you look at it, look at the Nuggets. They shot 52% from the floor.
Yep.
They shot 39% from the 3. You can live with that. 86% from the free throw line, 19 of 22. As you mentioned, they had 38 rebounds to the Heat 31. But the difference is they made 6 more threes. It's hard. You can't keep overcoming that because it's not like you're making, you got up 90 field goal attempts and you're 52% from that. You have to, if you're going to overcome threes, you're going to have to get up a boatload of twos. And they didn't do that yesterday.
Okay. So what changed from game 1 to game 2? The Heat shot an all-time playoff low 2 free throws in game number 1. And they went 2 of 2.
Right.
2 of 2?
Right.
Well, last night they went 18 of 20, which leveled the playing field with the home team because it was on, what was 19 to 22 for the home team.
Right.
So at least it's sort of 50-50-ish, right?
But they attacked last night.
They did.
And I thought early in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, it might have been the fourth quarter, Skip. They were in the bonus with 9 minutes to go in the game. They got frustrated, got a ticky-tack foul here, and then Joker just whacks Bam upside the head. Now it's 3, and the next thing you know, you get a reach-in foul, it's 4, and the next one you're in the bonus. So now all of a sudden Miami is marching to the free throw line, shooting penalty free throws for 9 minutes.
The other thing off game 1 was I told you that Bam Adebayo had a career-high 25 attempted shots because Joker was basically just daring him. Go ahead and shoot that 10, 12-foot jump shot. And he tried, and he made a good number of them, but it didn't do enough damage.
No.
So last night he was 14 shots.
You can live with that.
And you can live with 14 because everybody else got involved in their own little big ways.
Right.
And it was classic Heat basketball last night because it went 7 deep of players who contributed, and you can make a case that there were MVP of the game-like stretches from 7 different Miami Heat, right?
Yep. Skip, you mentioned, look at Kyle Lowry was bombing threes. He hit some threes, Skip, I was like, ain't no way that's going in. And it swishes.
He made one bomb, like it was like out of his range. And I'm like, you're going to shoot that? Because that's grounds for dismissal. Like you're going to be yanked back to the bench, right?
I'm not the only one that was thinking that, like, damn, what guy did this Kyle Lowry?
Okay, it went in. Then I'm thinking, damn, what didn't get into Caleb Martin? They said he's been sick. He said after the game he's suffering migraines and chills. Had a wet towel over his head in the locker room. Missed practice the day before. So they said it's non-COVID, but I don't know. But he was not himself, but he hasn't been himself for 2 games.
Right.
He scored 3 points and 3 points in the 2 games. And he finally made a 3 late in the game that was fair. It was 3:39 left that actually put them up by their biggest margin, 12 points in the fourth quarter.
Right.
But Shannon, remember what he did? Remember that Caleb Martin who averaged, 18 and 8 rebounds against Boston?
Yeah.
I'm talking about in games 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The last 5 games, he carried this team into the NBA Finals.
Yes.
I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe it was just his illness last night, but help me out. What if he turns back into Eastern Conference Finals, Caleb Martin? You might be in trouble because they pulled off what they did last night with little to no Caleb Martin.
Yeah, but Skip, I'm looking at Michael Porter, Skip. He's better than 5 points. Aaron Gordon didn't play bad, but he didn't get enough shots. 7 attempts is not enough. KCP, 4 attempts is not enough. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive and stop just standing on it, looking to pass the ball to Jamal Murray.
He had a non-game last night, and he did the big ABC pregame interview. He may question himself. Maybe next time I don't do the big stand-up pregame. It was just before, 5 minutes before tip-off. He did a big, lengthy interview with the guys.
What did he say?
It was great. It was just great talking about the game and how confident he is and how he never does get quite enough acclaim for what he contributes, and went on, but they were in control. And then that happened.
So did the guy say, well, after the game, that's why you don't get no acclaim? You shot 1 for 4, 1 for 3, and you was a -14?
Yes, he was on the ABC set after the game. It was not KCP. It was Kyle Lowry.
Right.
Okay, so the script got flipped,
It did. Yeah, but that, Skip, you got Jimmy Butler hit some threes. Skip, I'm like, how you hit the threes that he hit? If he's wide open, he misses it by a mile. But when a guy's all up in him, got a hand in his face and tugging on his jersey, he pulls up in the corner and knocks it down. I'm just confused at the difference in his 3-point shots. Normally, guys that are wide open, they're going to shoot at a higher clip than a guy that's shooting a contested 3.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler is just the opposite.
Okay. So here, he rose up,
Yes.
he rose up. And their plan was, what did we talk about Friday? Eric Spoelstra likes to talk about going in the cave to try to figure out the next game.
Right.
Pat Riley is in the cave, and,
Right.
and he is a mastermind and has been since the Showtime Lakers.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they come up with, they mixed in a lot of zone. They play a great matchup zone.
But
They are everywhere.
they normally hold it off into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They normally hold it off, especially if they get a lead or the game starts to get close. They'll jump into that 3-2, put Gabe Vincent is playing the center spot because he's guarding up, holding off a yoke.
And he's doing a good
He's
job.
doing a good job, yeah.
Getting in the way.
Yes.
And yet they match up and they close on three-point shooters out of the zone, which is usually your issue with the zone. You just leave out too many wing shots, right?
Right.
And they play it to perfection, and they mix it to perfection because it seems like every other time down, it's man, it's zone, it's man, it's zone. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Right.
It makes you hesitate. And then Joker said after the game, they make us play, or they made us tonight, play at their pace. They like to play deliberate basketball.
Correct.
They like to set it up and pick you to pieces.
Right.
They don't want you to get out and run, especially at home.
Right.
They will pick their spots. That's why fast break points were all Denver. Miami will pick its spots. They'll run with you, but they have to do it off a turnover when it's just begging to be run.
And we'll talk about that a little later, Skip, about the timeout call. But the Nuggets want to get it out. They don't really want to get it into a half-court set. Miami wants to play in a half-court set because they feel that they have that advantage of making you move side to side, and they're going to be able to get a good shot. The Nuggets want to get the ball out. Hey, that's why I'm saying a lot of times last night, Skip, you see who was leading the break. Nikola Jokic. He's not looking to pass it to a guard. He's like, I got this. And he's coming down, and a couple of times he took it all the way to by himself because, like I said, he sees his teammates are struggling scoring the basketball. He's like, nah, later for this. I'm timeout. I'm done. Like, I still trust my teammates. I don't.
So usage rate. I know it's a second-level stat, but it means what's the percentage of the game that you had the ball in your hands while your team had the ball, obviously.
Right.
42% was Joker last night. That's up there with LeBron in the 2015 finals when he had lost Kevin Love and then he lost Kyrie in overtime of game one. And remember, games 1, 2, and 3, he's up there around 45%. But for Joker to have it 42%, Shannon, it's a ton of ball in hands.
Yes.
He's playing everything. He is being the point guard, the facilitator, and by far the primary scorer last night. And it's a lot to ask of one man.
Right.
Jamal was just a ghost until later in the fourth quarter because he did next to nothing through the first 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden, he got hot.
Right.
And that's why I think Michael Malone said, okay, last shot, I'm going to let Jamal just take it because that's pretty much who he is and what he does with his team.
Yeah, he's of the guys, he's the guy that's best equipped to go one-on-one and get a shot that he likes. I'm not trusting. I'm not really trusting. Are you going to trust Michael Porter Jr. when he's struggling in that situation, Skip, for the entirety of the game? You're probably not. You're not going to trust Aaron Gordon. You're not going to put in a situation. So basically, it's come down to Yoke and Jamal Murray. And they're like, I'm not necessarily sure, Skip. I would have used Yoke to set the screen. I might have got the screen from somebody else because I don't want Jimmy Butler defending that play at the end.
Okay, because it was a good switch for Miami. I thought it was a great switch.
Yes.
Because if it's Gabe Vincent on Jamal, right?
Yes.
Jamal's got to be
at least 2-3 inches taller than he is.
2 inches, right? 2 inches taller
at the bare minimum.
Okay.
So that's the only thing, Skip. I don't know if I'd have called for the screen, for the pick with Yoke, because I don't want Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is probably their best on-ball defender.
He is.
I don't want that.
Agreed.
Give me anybody else other than Jimmy.
All right, so sum it up. How concerned is Shannon Sharpe about Joker and company?
Well, I'm not overly concerned, Skip, because if you're going to tell me now Michael Porter Jr. is going to play like this the rest of the series, then they're in a heap of trouble. Because, I mean, Skip, he averaged 17 points a game in the regular season. He gave you 5. He gave you 5 points. 7 shots is not enough for Aaron Gordon. 7 shots. Yeah, 7 shots is not enough. KCP got to give us more than 6 points with 36 minutes of playtime. But I'm not concerned. I'm gonna roll with the Nuggets. Still take the Nuggets in 6.
6?
Yeah.
and I still got the Heat in 6, so something's about to have to give, right?
Wiz is going to tell us a lot.
Game 3.
Wiz is going to tell us. It's normally Game 5 in a tied series tells you a lot. And the Game 3 in a 1-1 series is about to tell us even more. You be in a heap of trouble, they win this thing.
I think I'm going to be just fine.
I think I'm going to get me some dew on this.
We will find out on Wednesday, guys. We'll see what that home crowd does for the Heat as well.
They ain't got no
Series
home
shifts
crowd.
back to Miami.
They show up late, leave early. You know that.
We'll see. Maybe they'll be energized by this latest win. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.